Hi everyone, comic book reviewer here. This time reviewing on the 1996 film Matilda. Now, I think we all know what the film Matilda was. It was pretty much a 1996 fantasy comedy film that was co-produced and directed by DeVito, as well as starring him as Harry Wormwood, and of course was based on Roald Dahl's popular 1988 novel of the same name. So yeah, as we know, we have got the musical Matilda, so I personally wanted to go back to the original film to see if it still holds up. And the premise of the film is meant to feature Matilda Wormwood, played by Mara Wilson, who is kind of this genius but kind of neglected and mistreated daughter of Harry and Sini Wormwood. And I think having Danny DeVito as Harry Wormwood really does work, because one, you can tell Danny DeVito plays this really gruff but kind of uncaring and abusive crooked salesman. And of course, we kind of see how Matilda learns from her dismay that her father has no concern or care for her, and it's even made worse when he strikes a deal with Agatha Trunchbull to send her to her school. And this is also where we see Matilda meeting Miss Honey, who's a more kinder, more friendlier teacher. And over the course of the film, we do see how Matilda and Miss Honey bond, and her learning more truths about Agatha Trunchbull, the abusive and controlling and selfish principal of Cruncham Hall, as well as Miss Honey. And we do see Matilda learning more about her abilities and powers. And I think for the most part, I think the film gets well at is just showing how Matilda feels like an outcast from her family and feels wanted and accepted by Miss Honey. And I think Pam Ferris as Agatha Trunchbull does work, because when she does play the Trunchbull, she knows how to be this intimidating but pretty hilarious, dangerous force. And I think what makes her work as the Trunchbull is, one, she knows how to abuse her power. She knows how to get what she wants. And when she does feel like a student's out of line, she shows her full power to the extreme. I think for the most part, what the film damages itself a little bit is rushing too much of the storyline. And I get it, yeah, building up Matilda from the start makes sense, as it's taking time to see how Matilda is meant to grow up, sort of seeing how she's going to be a bit more matured faster. And I think having, not much time at Cruncham Hall does feel like a bit of a disappointment. And I think for the most part, when you do have Matilda using her abilities on the Trunchbull, it does feel a little anticlimactic and just feels a little like it got resolved way too quickly. And I think, with 98 minutes, I get it, you have to kind of find a way to make the story balanced. And I get it, Danny DeVito was probably told they had to kind of cut down a little bit to what they probably had in mind. And I think for the most part, having Danny DeVito as the narrator does work, because when he does play Harry, he knows how to be this gruff but kind of uncaring father. But when he does do the role of the narrator, he really sounds like this guy who's telling the story to his kids. He knows what he's trying to say to the audience, and how he's telling it from his heart deep down. And I think, I know there's talks about Danny DeVito wanting to do a sequel to Matilda, but really, I think the film ended on a better note, because we saw Matilda finally getting what she wanted. We kind of saw her finally getting the acceptance and approval that she always wanted. I think, the film does feel a little quick, but you can really tell the story Danny DeVito and the team behind Matilda really wanted to tell. So I think this film definitely deserves a thumbs up. While there is still some flaws, you know it's going to be enjoyable. You know it's going to be one of those films that Danny DeVito wants to bring into the world, that he's not going to enforce too much on. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.